هذا التسجيل هو عمل تطوعي مقدم من مبادرة بصيرة للأشخاص المكفوفين وضعاف البصر بالتعاون مع المجلس الأعلى لحقوق الأشخاص ذوي الإعاقة. Action Pack 10, 10th grade, Student's Book. Extra Reading A. Treasure Island by Robert Louis Stevenson. My name is Jim Hawkins, and I live with my family at the Benbow Hotel in England. The hotel is in a small, quiet village near the sea. My mother and I worked hard in the hotel, but my father, who was very ill, often went to see Dr. Livesey. One day, an old seaman with a large chest came to stay at our hotel. He was a very tall man with a long scar on one side of his face. He said he wanted somewhere quiet to stay, and he told me, "If you see a seaman with one leg, tell me immediately. I'll give you a silver coin every month." A few months later, a blind man came to the hotel and asked for the old seaman. When he talked to the old seaman, he gave him a message from some pirates. The old seaman looked very frightened, and soon after he disappeared. The old seaman's chest was still in his room, so Mother and I decided to open it, and we found an old map inside. It looked interesting. Then we heard a lot of noise outside the hotel. They were pirates, and I was sure they wanted the map. So I told my mother we had to leave, and we went quickly and quietly out the back door. I decided to take this map to Mr. Trelawney, a man I knew who was very clever, important, and rich. When I got there, Dr. Livesey was there too, and they looked at the map. Dr. Livesey asked Mr. Trelawney, "Have you heard of Captain Flint?" Mr. Trelawney replied, "Yes, he was a terrible pirate who was very rich." "That's right," said Dr. Livesey. "Well, I think this map shows where Flint buried his treasure." Mr. Trelawney immediately said, "We have to go find it." We agreed to go to the island, so the next day, Mr. Trelawney went to a nearby town and hired a ship. He also found a captain and a crew to sail the ship for us. Dr. Livesey, 3 friends, and I arrived the following day. On the ship, we met a man with one leg, Long John Silver. I remembered what the old seaman had said, but this man was the cook, and he looked very friendly. The next day, the weather was good, so we set off for Treasure Island. We had plenty of food, and the seaman seemed very happy. During the voyage, I sometimes helped the cook, and I sometimes helped the other seamen. I liked being at sea, although it was very tiring. The day before we arrived at Treasure Island, I decided to have an apple. Apples were usually kept in a big barrel, but the barrel was almost empty, so I climbed inside it. As I picked an apple up, I heard Long John Silver's voice as he was talking to the crew. He said that when we found the treasure, they were going to take the ship and that they were going to leave us on the island. They were pirates. I waited until they had gone away, and then I quickly ran to tell the doctor and Mr. Trelawney. The next day, we reached the island. We looked at the map again, and Dr. Livesey pointed to a citadel on the island. He said we had to go there to be safe. Long John Silver and some of the pirates wanted to go to the island, so I hid in their boat and went to the island with them. Mr. Trelawney, the doctor, his 3 friends, and the captain came later and ran to the citadel, carrying food and water with them. I was hiding in the trees when I saw my friends run to the citadel and close the big doors. The pirates couldn't get in. I was trying to decide what to do when I heard a noise in the trees. Was it an animal? Was it a pirate? I felt scared, but then I saw a frightened little man. He told me his name was Ben Gunn, and that some pirates left him on the island 3 years before. Ben Gunn helped me to get to the citadel that night. The next morning, Dr. Livesey spoke to Ben Gunn. Ben told me that he had a boat and I decided to go and find it. I wanted to get back to our ship, so I ran quickly to the east coast of the island and found the little boat. When it was dark, I rowed it to our ship and I quietly climbed onto it. Were there any pirates on the ship? Fortunately, there was only one pirate who was hurt. I helped him, and then he helped me sail the ship to the north coast of the island, which was near the citadel. When I got to the citadel, my friends were not there. Suddenly, Long John Silver caught me. The pirates were in the citadel. They had the map because Dr. Livesey had given it to them. Why did he do that? A few hours later, Dr. Livesey arrived and helped the hurt pirates. I didn't understand what was happening. Long John Silver wanted to dig up the treasure. Dr. Livesey whispered to me that everything was all right. He told me that Mr. Trelawney and our friends were safe. Long John Silver and the pirates followed the map to the treasure. They tied ropes round our hands and made us go with them. However, when we arrived at the place, we saw a big hole. Somebody had taken the treasure. The pirates began to fight and they fell into the deep hole and they couldn't get out. Hurrah! Dr. Livesey and I ran away quickly. We went to Ben Gunn's cave where Mr. Trelawney and the others were waiting for us. Ben had lived there all the time and he had all the treasure there. Ben had told Dr. Livesey this, so the doctor gave the map to the pirates. The map didn't help the pirates because Ben Gunn had the treasure. We took all the treasure to the ship and sailed back to England. Ben Gunn was very pleased to be back home, and so were we. We all took some gold home. My mother was very pleased to see us. Treasure Island activities. In groups, discuss the following questions. Number 1. Suggest another title for the story reflecting its theme. Number 2. What kind of character would you describe Jim Hawkins to be? Number 3. Would you have taken the map and run away? Why? If not, what would you have done? Number 4. What do you think happened to the old seaman after he escaped? Number 5. Do you think it was a good idea to show the map to Mr. Trelawney and Dr. Livesey? Why? Number 6. Fill in the following table with information about the story. Title. So write the title. Characters. Write the name of the characters in the story. Setting. The setting is the time and place of the story. Events. Write 5 different events that happened in the story. Number 7. In pairs, discuss what you would have done if you were stuck on the island alone for a very long time. Number 8. What would you do with the treasure if you were the one who found it? Would you share it, save it, or spend it all? Discuss your choices in groups. Number 9. Write instructions for finding some hidden treasure. Draw a map to make the instructions clearer.